Have you ever felt like life and everyone around you was conspiring to steal all your energy and time? The reason this keeps, quote, happening to you is because your boundaries game is weak. In today's episode, I'm going to give you a reframe to fix that, because it's the only way you're going to become a true creating maven who experiences satisfaction in all that you do. Hey, creating maven. I'm Joy Spencer, your reframe specialist, with one important message. Your real work, it's not your job or your career. Your real work is what you create. And what you create is what sets you apart and makes you incomparable. It's your legacy. I'm here to show you a whole new way of working so you can create with your gifts, make a unique contribution, and finally get paid to be yourself. This is Reframe to Create. Yep, I'm pretty sure your boundaries game is weak, which is why you're having trouble creating. Don't feel bad. I mean, this is most people. But the thing is, this is why you're experiencing dissatisfaction, not just in your job, but in life. At least it's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why it's hard to feel like you're doing things that are most important to you. It makes it hard for you to make a unique contribution and really set yourself apart and set yourself up to be paid to be yourself so that you can leave a legacy you're proud of. It's hard to do these things because your boundaries game is weak. Let me tell you something about boundaries. Boundaries aren't to keep things and other people out. Boundaries are to keep you in. Boundaries aren't about saying no. Boundaries are about saying yes. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Over the years, I've moved from being a complete disaster when it came to boundaries to being pretty good at them. And I wouldn't call myself a master at it right now, but I'm definitely light years improved from where I was just a few years ago. There were many circumstances that I found myself in that helped nudge me towards better boundaries right around the time that I was doing a deep dive on boundaries based on work by experts like Henry Cloud and Melody Beatty. And if you want to do boundaries work, they are two people that I highly encourage you to Google them up and check out their work. One particular incident was especially enlightening. It was a few years ago, and I found myself in a place that you can probably relate to. I was feeling overwhelmed. There was a lot I needed to do, and I felt like I just had a lot of demands in my life. And, not just necessarily just distractions that I was creating for myself. I really had a lot on my plate. And these things, it felt, were keeping me from moving forward and making progress on some of my more personal goals. So I decided to set some boundaries on my time so that I could focus. So on this particular week, I said I wasn't going to schedule any additional calls beyond what had already been scheduled because I was just full to the brim. It was already packed and I just needed some breathing room, which I didn't even have. So I really had no room for more. So great. I was going to be able to work through whatever was on my plate. So it's in the midst of this crazy packed week to the brim that an old acquaintance reached out and asked if I had time for a call. They needed some help, advice, possibly coaching on some stuff. Mind you, I just set this time aside for myself and I really needed it. This was not a good time to throw in another call and possibly additional work that would come out of it. I was just swamped. But, this is what I said to myself, which you probably have said to yourself. I can make an exception. Even though I've set a boundary around this particular week because I really need it, let me do this favor and make this exception. And the whole time I'm figuring myself this really nice person, because I'm doing this. So I did it. I went ahead, I squeezed her in, and the day came and it was a packed day, like more packed than usual, of course. And so the more and more, it just felt like there was more on my plate that I had originally thought for this day. So I'm running around, I'm trying to do all the things before our scheduled time together. And as the time approaches, I actually got in my car, I make the drive to get to a quiet and private spot so we can talk. And it was going to be a tight window for me. I'm about to dash through back there, to that meeting and then dash back out somewhere else. And this was really beginning to feel like an inconvenience. But the whole time I'm telling myself, okay, make an exception, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm being nice. So I get there, I battle a little bit of traffic. And just as I arrive, and 5 minutes before we're supposed to have this conversation, I get a text on my phone. Oh, something came up. I need to just, reschedule. Can we reschedule? What? I'm already here. I went out of my way to squeeze you in and make this thing happen. I was livid. I felt like my time had been disrespected and my boundary violated. And then it hit me. This was on me. I'm the one who had gone out of my way. I was the one who had violated a boundary that I had set first. I had stepped out of line. I was the boundary buster, the boundary offender. I had crossed the very boundary I had set up to support myself. She was just mirroring back to me the same level of disrespect and dismissiveness to my time that I had shown to my time boundaries, and I had done it first. Does this feel familiar? How many times have you set a boundary around your time, your energy, or a space? And all someone has to do is maybe ask a question, not even necessarily make a direct request to you, and you're off making adjustments. They didn't force you. They just asked or pushed back a little, and you crumbled. Why? Maybe because, like me, on that day, your boundaries game is weak. And so often in those situations, we are the ones who violate our boundaries. We are the ones who go back on the promises that we have made to ourselves. We are the ones who give up the time that we had set aside for ourselves to reflect, create, or take care of what was important to us in some way. We are the ones who step out of line first. The only way to fix this is for us to shore up our boundaries. This isn't something other people can do for us because it's not something that is the responsibility of other people. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't like being around people who smack their gum. It sets your teeth on edge and literally sends your pressure through the roof. You've gone the extra step of articulating it to that particular person who's always smacking gum around you. But time and time again, when exposed to this type of situation with them, my question to you is, do you honor that boundary? Do you get up and move? Do you do what you need to do in order to keep you in that boundary and in that space of integrity? No, you probably just sit there, you listen, you take it in, you seethe inside and complain, and you're all upset because you think it's their responsibility to honor the boundary that you've set. But no, those boundaries aren't to keep them out or in line or in control. Those boundaries aren't to control anything or anyone else. Boundaries are to keep you in integrity, to keep you living according to your values, to keep you honoring the promises you've made to yourself. It's so important for you to get this. You're responsible, and the boundaries are for you to keep you in. Because if you don't get this, you're going to be out there blaming other people and thinking that you're their victim. You'll see your boundaries as walls you need to put up in order to keep others out. And that's not going to help you. It's actually just going to make your boundaries game weak. The other reason your boundaries game is weak is because you think boundaries are about saying no. No, I don't like that. No, I don't like this. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want this. No, don't cross here. No, don't cross there. Boundaries aren't about 1,000 different ways that you can say no to life or to people. Boundaries are about the most important yes. Boundaries are ultimately about saying yes. Yes to what matters most. Yes to your unique contribution and offering it in service. Yes to the promises you've already made. And when you're so focused on saying a big, resounding, level 10, yes, yes, yes to those things that are most important to you, you don't even feel like your life is about saying no to a million other things. It'll just feel like your plate is full of your high value yeses, and saying no to what doesn't fit on there will feel like a very simple and little thing that just doesn't take up a lot of space and energy for you. It's about saying yes to that big or those big things. And that's what your focus should be on. What do you want to say yes to? In episode 10, I suggested that you let your yes be to health, yes to relationships, yes to creating, yes to only the things that are most important to you. So why is it so important that your boundaries game be strong and not weak? Why am I harping on this so hard? Because if you're going to be a creating maven, this is one of the most important things you're going to need in order to stay on your creating journey. In a world where productivity hamster living rules, in a world where the sign of success is doing more and doing it harder, faster, better, more, in a world where you're being called to climb that ladder. In that world, you need powerful mental, emotional, and physical boundaries to keep you in. These are the lines that show you what you value and keep you on that path. Strong boundaries keep you moving toward what you know you were born to create. Because without creating, you won't be satisfied in work or in anything that you do, and we'll all be poorer for it. So what can you do to strengthen your boundaries game today? You need to keep these 3 things I've shared with you front of mind and do this activity that I'm going to share at the end. Remember, 1, it's your responsibility to make and keep your boundaries, not other people's jobs to honor them for you. 2, boundaries aren't about keeping other people out, but about keeping you in integrity, keeping you in character, keeping you with your values, helping you honor the promises you've made to yourself. And 3, boundaries aren't about saying no. They're about saying yes to what's most important to you. So here's your homework. Grab a blank piece of paper and write this. I, fill in the blank with your name, am 100% responsible for honoring my boundaries. And then I want you to write, today I say yes to blank and to blank only. And you get to fill in the blank with whatever it is that you want to say yes to. So that second sentence is, today I say yes to blank and to blank only. Now I want you to tape this filled out paper, however you filled it out, tape it somewhere you're going to see it multiple times when you walk around today. Maybe it's on the wall to the door, maybe it's the bathroom mirror, wherever you pass frequently throughout the day and you can see it. Tape it up there. And when you think about the thing you said yes to for today, I want you to guard that thing in your mind like it's your most precious thing. Let this note to yourself inform how you set up your day to make sure you're honoring your promise to make this thing a priority today because you said a big level 10 yes to it. It's your job to swat away and move away from anyone or anything else that'll keep you from honoring this. It's your responsibility, not anyone else. It doesn't matter that they don't know that you've made this promise. What matters is that you know and you've made it. This is a small exercise that's designed to build your boundaries muscles to start helping you get your boundaries game up and strong. Please take it seriously because it's going to show you how you are the best respecter or the worst violator of your own boundaries. You're about to see the truth. And knowing this is going to help you shore up your boundaries game where it's weak. See you soon, Creating Maven. Until then, remember to always ask yourself, what will I create?